This is the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek, and in today's Vehicle Visionary video, we're going to tell you about the advantages of owning this vehicle. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. There are some minor changes to talk about for 2026 with the Pathfinder, including a little bit of a refresh to the front fascia, a little bit more of a squared off look. We're going to have our full LED lighting here. That's nothing new. LED headlights, LED daytime running lights. And here's one of those advantages that I know a lot of you are looking for. It's right here, the fog lights. Some vehicles out there are not coming with fog lights, but I know that's very important based on comments a lot of you leave. The gloss black grille area up here with the upper grille, I think is neatly placed because that's not going to get the damage that the lower portion will. And one thing I would like to see if you're going to have something like this, although it looks nice, it's purely cosmetic, not any kind of active air vents or anything like that up there. We'll find the orange badging here. Everything stands out nicely with that Nissan badge against the gloss black grille. We're also going to have our forward-facing camera. The front view camera is going to be right here. You'll see the sensors here, so a lot of great safety features to help you out driving down the road. And I like that we have a matte finish down here in this area of the front end because, again, that's where all the rocks and everything is going to come, and you can get a little bit of damage right there. You do have some gloss right here. That's going to be specific to the Rock Creek trim level with that orange right there. Now we'll work our way around on this side because we have our sun on this side. This model is going to be four-wheel drive. We're going to have the 18-inch wheels. Tell me what you think about this look. Where basically it looks like it has a bead lock on it. We're also going to have off-road tuned suspension. That's going to be unique to this particular trim level, and a little tiny bit of extra ground clearance. Typically 7.1 inches. In this case, it's going to be 7.7 inches, but it is there. Now, we won't have power folding side view mirrors. They are manually folding, but that's going to work just as well. Turn signal indicators are built in. They're heated, power adjustable. And then right on this side, we'll show you real quick, is going to be your blind spot monitoring. That's going to be located right here with the mirror. And while I'm thinking about it, let's show you your remote, the key fob. You've got remote start, lock, unlock. Everything's there for your tailgate and for the panic button right there if you need to take advantage of that. And beyond the advantage of that off-road tuned suspension, you also have the advantage of having the pre-installed roof rails with the crossbars up here. It's going to have that tubular design that is unique to this trim level. Once again, something that sets things apart a little bit. And we'll work our way back and have our nice large windows, easy to see out of. And we'll finish things off here with the LED tail lights. Nice look there. Again, that Nissan badging with the orange trim and letters. The Pathfinder logo nicely placed here, nice and large. And you're going to find your Rock Creek badging. Going to find that in a couple of different places. You see that it says four-wheel drive right there. One of the additional advantages here, maybe you're cross-shopping the Honda Pilot, but you're saying, you know what, Tom, I do a good bit of towing and I need as much capacity as possible. What's the difference? Unlike the Honda Pilot, which tows 5,000 pounds, you do have an additional 1,000 pounds of towing capacity at 6,000 pounds with the Pathfinder. Another advantage is what you find under the hood. No four cylinders here, and for those of you who don't like a turbocharger, it's naturally aspirated, a 3.5 liter V6. It puts out 295 horsepower, 270 pounds-feet of torque. Made it to a 9-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60, around 7 seconds flat, maybe a little quicker. Top speed 138 miles per hour. Is there an advantage when it comes to your potential MPGs? Well, you'll have to tell me what you think about this on the window sticker. 20 city, 23 highway, 21 combined, and 4.8 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And how about your gas tank details? We have an 18.5 gallon gas tank. On a single tank of gas, you should be able to drive about 370 miles in the city, about 425 miles out on the highway, and that will vary depending on where you drive, how you drive, traffic conditions, all those details. To open your power tailgate, you've got the button on the remote that we showed you earlier. There's a button on the interior. There's also the button right here where you can just push that and that's going to come up. Now, before we talk about cargo capacity, notice how low this is. You might say, what's up with that? You can reset the height of this door depending on what your needs are by simply moving it into place. You can bring it down, you can raise it up, and when you're ready to set the height, you just hold the button right here and listen for the beeps. Now, be patient with me. We're going to close that and then open it right back up, and you'll see that it opens to its max opening capacity. It just depends on what your situation is, but you can set that however you need to. How about your cargo space? Here are your dimensions. 16.6 behind the third row. If you lower that and have the second row in its upright position, 45 cubic feet, and 80.5 cubic feet when we lower everything down all the way. And how do you do that? All we're going to do is use the button right there, or the release I should say, and then we push these down just like this, and you're good to go. There's your max cargo space maximized out, and you're good to go with whatever you need to do as far as what you might need to haul back here in the rear area. Now we're going to have, number one, the nifty little place right here where you can clip the seat belt. Goes in just like that, so it stays out of the way. That's nice to have that. You're also going to have your bag hanger. That's not anything out of the ordinary. And then over here, let me come over here and show you a couple of things. We're also going to have another hanger right there and a tie down point right down here. Depending on what you need to do, you can bring that out just like that. People always ask, can you recline the seat backs? As you can see, you can do that depending on where your passengers want these seats to be set. They can make changes accordingly. There's a little bit of additional storage space underneath the floor right here if you need that, actually quite a bit. And underneath the rear of the vehicle right here, we're not going to show it to you, but there is a spare tire located underneath there. And how about the advantages of the second and third row areas? Well, let's talk about our door bins first. You're going to have a couple of nice size bottle holders right here built into the armrest. The armrest is nice and comfortable and has a lot of padding built into it. Down below, we're going to have the door bin that also functions as a bottle holder. Plenty of space within that area. Again, you can use these controls on the side of the seat to recline everything. That lever right there is what does that. And while you have a third row that may not have the most space, that can change. Here's one of those advantages. These seats can be moved back and forth to help your rear seat passengers with leg space. On the side of the seat is the button that allows us to get that up and out of the way. That's going to be nice and convenient. We're going to move that right there. Let me hop up in here and we'll show you what we have going on with our space. Pull that seat all the way back just like that. Now this is all the way back. That's the advantage, is that your passengers can move these seats up. It is way too small back here at the current way it's set up, but it will work. An advantage that I do like here that's over the Honda Pilot. The Pilot has the air conditioning vent down in this area right down here where the cup holders are located. To me, that's not close enough to your passengers. But here in the Pathfinder, it's located in the roof line. That's going to work better, more effective. And another advantage here, I can actually show you on the seat back right there. That button that you see right there, if for some reason your passengers are stuck in the third row, middle seat passengers got excited and jumped out without letting them out, they can push that button and get the seat up and out of the way and then get right out. For those of you who don't want a sunroof, well, there's not a sunroof here. So if that's something you're interested in, nice to know that's an option. And as far as reclining the seats, they do go back quite far. As you can see with me actually sitting here, we're going to have the built-in armrest with the cup holders built in. I always want to see the vertical cup holders like this as opposed to parallel, just because when you have a bottle or a cup in there, guess what? You can't use it as easily as an armrest. That's the way it is. We're going to have a rear seat pocket on the back of both seats. I like that. That does a good job. And then we're going to once again have our air conditioning vents right up here. So if you're wondering why there's none on the center console, that's because they're located up there. A little bit of storage space in this area, and then we're going to have our USB connectivity down here. So I know everything that, as far as the checking the boxes off goes for the rear seats, is going to be here for you. How about the sticker price? $47,620 is what you will pay, at least at Or Nissan here in Shreveport, Louisiana. Let's see what else you get for that price. You will find a sunglass holder right here. Not a whole lot going on as far as your lights and everything go up here. I'll have a little bit of that. Some map lights right there, a couple of buttons, but not too much going on with the upper console. And we'll work our way down. I do want to show you real quick that we have the nice pass-through here with the center console area. So a nice amount of additional space. That's always going to be welcome. I like the contrast stitching, this orange stitching that comes from the outside into the inside. We saw the orange contrast out there, and we'll find our conventional size glove box down there. Just a little bit of additional space, which is always going to be nice. Now, as far as the door panel goes, we're going to have a nice large armrest, a little bit larger than what we saw in the rear, and then we're going to have our door bin down there with the bottle holder and plenty of storage space within that area. Nice materials throughout, with a very nice look as far as the color scheme goes. Now, there are a couple of things you're not going to find here. As I mentioned earlier, you don't have power folding side view mirrors. You also don't have seat memory. A little surprised at that. But you will have your power folding side view, or power adjustable, I should say, side view mirrors, lock and unlock. And something that is nice is that you do have the one touch down, one touch up at all 4 doors. You can lock the windows if you want to. And then we'll have a few of our controls up here. We can hit that button right there and turn on steering assist, or turn it off if we want to, depending on what we need to do. That's what that button is for. And then here's the button to open and close the power tailgate. You got the release right here for your tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Cruise control going to be over here, and then everything for the radio, and going through different bits of information on the driver's display is also here. So we can use that scroll wheel to go through depending on what we need to do. There's your driver assistance. Just to show you those things, you have the steering assist, lane assist, blind spot assist, emergency brake, parking aid. You can see what else is here. There's quite a few different things going on where that is concerned, but just so you know what's here, because I know a lot of you like to know about the different safety features, and then I'm just going to arrow through here. If you want your digital speedometer, that's going to be right here. Couple of different things to go through, and all I'm doing is arrowing through with the arrows on the steering wheel right there, and we're back where we started. Now, you do have the analog gauges, something that's going by the wayside with some vehicles in this day and age. So nice to have that with your speedometer and your tachometer. That works well. Shifter paddles on the back of the steering wheel to gear your way back and forth through the 9-speed automatic transmission. Everything here for your exterior lighting, your headlights, your fog lights, all of that's going to be here. We can turn all of that on and off. You also have your blinker lever, turn signal stalk right here for those of you that know how the turn signals work. Front and rear window wiper control will be located right here. And we're going to have our 12.3-inch center screen. I like this because it's not an overload of information. Depending on what you need to do, you can come right here. You can pair your smartphone wirelessly. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Bluetooth is here. All of that's going to be here. Now we can come right here and bring up our icons. And as you can see, again, there's not a lot here. Minimalistic, I would say, but it definitely does a nice job of doing whatever you need to do and giving you all the information and details that I know a lot of you are looking for. Now, I'm going to go right down here and push this button. We're going to bring up our different camera views. And as you can see, we have the overhead view over here on the left. There's our front view camera. There is another view from the front view right there. Depending on what you need to see, you can come right here. You've got that hoodless view if you want to see that. And then we have obviously the rear view camera that we can take advantage of. We can go right here on the sides and every area possible. We can also come right here and do this if we want to look around the entirety of the vehicle. Now, you will have the rear view camera that will also come up when you go into reverse, just like this. So there's our rear view camera. A couple of different things we can do there depending on what we want to see and how we want to see it. Pretty simple to deal with. Down here, we're going to find everything for your hazard lights. There's the button to turn those on and off if you need to. You'll also have the knob for the radio to turn that on and off and adjust your volume. You can go back and forth through what you're listening to there. The Pathfinder logo is going to be right down here, nicely placed. Not too much, not too much of an overload, I would say. The only thing that I think is missing here is that you only have the heated seats. You don't have the ventilated seats. We do have dual zone climate control. You can sync those sides together if you want to, or you can have them them set independently. No wireless charging pad. That should be a standard feature here. That's my opinion on that. We have our connectivity down here with the 12-volt power outlet and a couple of USB ports. And then the shifter is going to be right here. Fits nicely in the palm of your hand. There's a button on the left-hand side you push to get that into drive. And we can go into reverse and neutral. All of that's going to be here. Everything very easy to deal with. Go into park by pushing the button right there, and you're good with that. A little bit of storage in front of the cup holder area right here. And right here, we're going to have our power parking brake. You've got auto hold for your brakes if you want to take advantage of that. And you can turn the auto stop start on and off. And how about your different driving modes? There are a few to talk about here. We're going to have auto. You can go with snow. There's mud and rut, sand. Then we go back down here to the bottom. We're also going to have eco, sport, and tow. So a little bit of everything for you, depending on what you need to do. You've got all of your great features there. And again, the Pathfinder logo is here, that nice orange contrast stitching. The center console lid doubles as an armrest, and we can open that up and see the space within. All right, here we go on the test drive with the Pathfinder Rock Creek. Now we have that suspension that's tuned for off-roading a little bit more so than what you might have with other models. So what is the difference going to be as far as the ride quality? Personally, I can't really tell a difference between the two. So for me, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't hurt anything. It's not a problem. The ride quality overall, very nice. The seats themselves are very comfortable. And a lot of adjustability built here into the driver's seat. There is one difference that I didn't talk about earlier in the video, and that is the fact that the driver's seat is power adjustable. It is an 8-way adjustable seat with 2-way lumbar support, but the passenger seat is manually adjustable. Now, tell me what you think about that. With the driver's seat and the steering wheel adjustability, then everybody who drives will be able to set everything up just fine without any issues. Nice responsive steering. That's something that I like here. Very little play in the steering wheel. It's not necessarily sports car-like, but it also isn't going to have that loose feel to it that some vehicles have, with a little bit more play in the steering wheel than I know I would like to have. But overall, that is a good thing. Now, as far as your technology goes, you definitely have easy to learn and use technology here. That's always a good thing. It's easy to see out of, and you got all those great safety features that I mentioned earlier in the video that are going to help you out when you're driving down the road. And the turning radius isn't too bad, as you just saw right there. For a four-wheel drive SUV, I think it does just fine where that is concerned. Overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive with plenty of room in the first and second rows. You can adjust a little bit of that in the third row. It just depends on who's sitting back there. Overall, like I say, a very well-rounded vehicle that is capable of helping you out in pretty much every driving situation, whether you're doing a little bit of light off-roading or if you live in that environment where you get a lot of snow and ice throughout the year. Those low traction situations are going to be taken care of by four-wheel drive. And there it is, the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek and the advantages that it offers. Tell me what you think down in the comments section. I would like to say a special thanks to our friends at Or Nissan in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning us this Pathfinder for the day so we could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful and appreciated. Make sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and we'll see you there.